So there's lots of 5 minutes to get photographs and things like that.
Is that the bridge we just came over?
The blue and white one just below you, that's the bridge, yep.
Wow.
There's another bridge away downstream earlier. If you sort of start off, in terms of the points they mentioned, start off on the left, you've got up there on top of the hill, see that big housing estate behind the cemetery? That's called the Cregan. Now the Cregan was built in the 1940s as part of the whole gerrymandering process that went on here for 50 years, from the, well actually for almost 150 years, but after Ireland was partitioned in 1921 and this new Northern Ireland state was set up.
They say they're in peace, and he says he's afraid to let us out of the van down.
I know, like because those kids like probably throwing rock or something.
But you know, when kids grow up in hatred,
Yeah,
it's going to take time.
yeah.
By gunmen, but as far as people here are concerned, they opened fire with no reason. You can see the mural over there on your right, signifying what's known as Bloody Sunday. Paras came in, shot dead 14 civilians and injured another 14 inside the space of half an hour. And the shootings themselves, just do another loop and then we'll so they can finish off outside the museum. Which is another, you know, there's books by Raymond McCann, people like that. If you go into Google, type in Bloody Sunday books or stuff like that, there's loads of them. Stuff like that. But the Troubles is a good one-stop shop.
On this one spot. Good to hear. People remind me sometimes.
But there's so much thing to remember in it.
Indeed.
Amazing.
Đây cho mình stop rồi.
Xuống cái city này nè. Delhi City. Con nó đang làm sao được.
Don't go down there, they throw stones at you.
Cũng có tourist tới đó.
This one, how far from Belfast?
From Belfast to here is 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, not bad.
1 hour and 40 minutes, but it's a big straight road and I'll be flying down it, what is known as the Paddy Wagon Express. Paddy Wagon Express to Belfast, please. So guys, I'm gonna pull down to
Yeah, như này là protection cho nên là Catholic hả? Catholic on here the war separation protection Catholic. Đây là có cái sign. Wow, ngủ rồi.
Nãy nó nói cái toilet ở đâu mà nhớ.
Bitte. Gì không? Hả? Con? Thì sao?
Cái organ ấy, organ trong cái.
Ôi ôi. Cái này nó thờ gì không?
Không có thờ, cái này là cái City Council, cái City Hall của nó.
City Hall hả? Ủa chứ không phải Protestant hả?
Nhưng mà cái này em nghĩ cái độ Protestant á. Catholic nó đã để hình Jesus rồi.
Đâu?
Belfirsta, Gaelic, came from. You know, Belfast was once famed for its rope making, its tobacco distribution, its linen. Belfast here, out through that lock, out through Belfast Lock, out into the Irish Sea, across the Irish Sea to Southampton, then from Southampton across the other side of the Irish Sea and sailed then to Cherbourg in France. After picking up passengers in Cherbourg in France, and then returned to the southern coast of Ireland and to a place known as Queenstown or Cove. Queenstown back then, Cove today, and it was then that it picked up its last passengers before its ill-fated journey across the Atlantic Ocean, where it hit an iceberg off the coast of Newfoundland on its way to New York. Indeed, one of the most famous ships in the world. It was the largest moving object on the planet in 1912. Indeed it was. They said that even God could not sink this ship. How wrong we were to challenge God. Have you ever seen the movie?
Of course.
Yeah? You seen the movie? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Yeah. It was Leonardo DiCaprio, so he was. That is why she was telling them about the land of eternal youth. The magical land that you live forever on. There's also a scene in that movie where, you know, whenever you've got Leonardo, so of course then, of course Jackson.
Belfast tại này. Europa nè. The Belfast so fast show on road. Hả? Chắc vậy đó.
Nay lại không lạnh đó. Hay là tại mặc cái áo này không lạnh. Mặc cái áo này nó hun nó.
At Queen University.
Vậy có một cái bộ qua cái vườn đó không? Botanical Garden đằng
Đâu?
sau đó đây.
Sao biết?
Sau này nè. Vậy cái bản đồ đâu?
Queen University.
Cái cuốn sách đem coi thử coi. Ở đây.
Nhiều cái gì? Con con
Cái
con.
này bán, cái này 6.000.
Cái con sòn gì con được. Rồi rác này, hôm nay rác đó phải rác.
Hả?
Rolex ở bên đây nè.
Rolex đây nè, thì nó có nhiều hiệu lạ hả? Bạc cái Philip này.
Có 3 ngàn mấy? 6 ngàn ha.
Cái này cũng mắc dữ ha.
Ok, go.
Cũng là cách sang rồi. Làm việc lớn xong Cartier.
Belfast, Ireland.
If you get off anywhere, 45 minutes later there'll be another bus around to pick you up. I reckon the ladies of the night used to lean against it as they waited for train. Big ladies. So not only has it got the time, it's got the inclination as well. The front in here is to leaving County Antrim, we're heading across into County Down on the far side. And down to our left here, the Lagan Weir. Tidal control barrier. Belfast gone to it as well. Full. Now beside the design office, there's not a lot to see at the moment, just two little slipways. That's where the Titanic was built. What's going to happen? Two big cranes you see here, Samson and Goliath. This is our shipyard, Harland Wolff. With 35,000 men used to work in here. Now unfortunately, down to about 200. It's an industry that's lost. And just beyond it, Shore Brothers in Ireland. Still a very thriving aircraft industry here. This is where the first vertical takeoff aircraft was designed. Belfast City Airport. You know, really, people in this area quite rightly, very, very about the effect of noise pollution and the effect on wildlife. So the airport's only allowed to be open 6:30 in the morning. Our very famous author C.S. Lewis wrote the Narnia Chronicles. He intended Campbell for a very short period of For a long time, the grounds of Scotland were closed to the public for security reasons. As we go up the hill, just on the left-hand side, Garden of Remembrance for Mulholland, and Overspill for the offices. The Parliament buildings, built on a series of sixes. There's 6 floors. One basement we can't see, and another floor on top behind Britannia and the tomb for Lord. If you look through the trees directly ahead of us, you can see the top of Campbell College just above the treetops there, and that's the only glimpse we'll catch of the actual buildings themselves. Very well established still. Just watch out for these branches. You can get planning permission for another. Stop your left-hand side now. It's actually slightly further along. Just a different mind. That was built in 1969, and Goliath, the one closest to us, 5 years later. So they're not that old, but they have really...
Right. Directly ahead of us, the Hilton Hotel. This is a massive step forward for us. This was our first 5-star hotel. Over the past few years, hotel accommodation has increased here by... Today, and then even more impressive in the evening. It's beautifully lit up. One car bomb here, and that whole lot would shatter and come crashing down. That parked up, run away, was absolute mayhem. This wall just to our right-hand side looks original. It's made of the same Portland stone as the original building. This is actually added in the 70s. Original buildings dating back to the 17th, 18th century tucked away down here. As we go past Partners Entry, just on our left, if you look down, you see the Morning Star. Used to be an old staging post, Bridge Street, and on our right-hand side, the Northern White House. This was the oldest newspaper here in Ireland. Now no longer, now it's a trendy bar and restaurant. I'll show you around the inside, beautiful marble. And if you look to the right and back, actually part of the cathedral, that's the largest Celtic cross here in Ireland. Troubles, how do people know Protestant newspaper, should I say? Coming up on the right-hand side, we've got the Irish News. That was said to be a nationalist, therefore a Catholic newspaper. So you can actually tell apart Catholics. And the reason people are actually the grass triangle, the grassies they were called, you tell them by the green. Maintained and kept open to the public. Directly in 89. Across the right-hand side of the road, this is the old Crown Road Jail.
Jail is right on the street of courthouse.
The filling station, or petrol station, just down to our right-hand side. No bathroom, toilet in the backyard. Originally built as homes for people who worked in the linen mills. And some of the below line, no running water, no sanitation.
No sanitation.
history we've lost here. The outside. That's to stop rocket propelled grenades being fired down onto it. 5 or 6 years ago, I wouldn't have walked up the Shankill Road, I wouldn't have walked up the 3-inch space on the street. Only too happy to see visitors coming in. Going on to the Shankill here, we're going to be turning left. Look up to the right hand side to see another mural up here for the Red Hand Commando. But as we swing left here on the left hand side, the Rangers Football Supporters Club. Rangers from Celtic on the Falls. Slightly farther down on the left. And on our right hand side, just behind the trees here, there's a garden of remembrance. And this is for basically for the UVF, but it's for the night before, but those eyes are decidedly strange. A lot of murals coming up in this little square ahead of us. On the right hand side, you see the shop front there, home there, lest we forget. So, for this traffic being photographs of the heroes of the 36th Ulster Division. They won 9 Victoria Crosses. Flanders Fields, Battle of Ypres as well. Could be quite confusing. We've got UVF, UFF, UDA. The murals tucked away in there as well. On our right hand side, the Diamond Jubilee. At the end of it, there's a little betting office. Look to the right and back is back gardens. Children on this side don't know what the children on the other side look like. Imagine waking up to that in the back garden every day. Ahead of us here, Divis Towers. The army then took over the top 2 floors and they used it as an observation post. They were there for 35 years, but now no longer yet again. Because of France, slightly farther up, Las Brigadas Internacionales. Beyond that, the mural Guernica, the Picasso reproduction. These are very new, brought across by Marianne McCracken. The people of this area empathise very much with slavery because they considered themselves slaves at one time as well. Our day will come. Big resurgence of Gaelic speaking here. 14 schools now teaching only in Gaelic. The only problem with that is when the children get up to the hunger strike, was to be treated as political prisoners, not as common criminals. And about 3 months after the last hunger strike, converted into bedsits as accommodation for the students.
Oh, what's that one?
Built to have a maximum of the surrounding area. But just watch out for these branches. This area is known, the reason it's protected is it's known as closed, and it's going to be closed for at least the next 2 years for refurbing. And then coming up on our right hand side, we're one of Charles Lanyon's most famous. Mary McAleese, David Trimble, big names in politics here. And their act together, and by the time they did, the 1914-18 war was over and they had to fight on the Russian front in 1919. Almost 15 years. And as we come down on the left hand side, just in this next block here, it's the largest custodian of listed buildings in the UK. And when I say a listed building, it means you can not do anything to the outside. Certainly the largest hotel in Belfast here has moved in, it's Days Hotel. Just beyond it, a brown doorway, and that's the smallest house in Belfast. Just to your right hand side now. And unfortunately we can't see all the original Victorian tiling on the outside of the Crown Liquor Store, the Crown Bar. One of them was my car. And on the right hand side of the road, Robinson's Bar. My name's Carl Robinson, but unfortunately I don't own any part of that. Just spending the time on Royal Avenue. Fine shops here. On the right hand side, the City Hall. Belfast was granted its city charter in 1888 by Queen Victoria. Bit by bit for health and safety reasons, unfortunately. But certainly you can walk around the grounds. To the right hand side, the Cenotaph. The centre right hand side, Castle Lane, Castle Place we're coming back into, Castle Street. So obviously there must have been a castle about here somewhere. And there was, it was on our right hand side.
Market.
Nghe nè, ra chỗ phút nè.
Hả? Mua đi.
Đây nè.
Táo rẻ, mua táo. Chú đi đây à? Đây nè. Castle Hill, Belfast Castle, Belfast Castle, Belfast Castle. Castle. Này ha, chỗ này hay. Chờ đi chờ nè. Đi phần chứ. Castle. Sideway. It is sideway. Rồi. Cái này. Hello, lagonboat.com. River Lagon. River Lagon. River Lagon, L-A-G-N-A, no, G-A-N. Here's the ship carry the first class customer to Titanic. This is the only survivor. Nomadic ship is live at the Titanic legend. built in Belfast. Built to serve Titanic, the last survivor vessel in the world, SF Nomadic.
Company của hai cái thằng đó, hai cái thằng đó nó build cái nó copy từ cái tại em không có lấy được gì nữa.
American dinner. Again, like for Pizza Hut. What was 2 for 2 for Port Prince Hotel.